Just stand
right there.
There you go.
Oh, hey, Amy. Will you MC?
I don't know.
Will you do? Because it's supposed to be me and her, and then Laura's out.
Keep away from me. Stab you. Anybody else need? It is very helpful.
feels like we operate 12 out of the 10 months of the year. Uh-oh. Switching out. All right. And yeah, I was intentional on 12 out of the 10 on that one. So, but we have a lot of fun there. And so the summer collegiate wood bat baseball team, that's a mouthful just to say we have college players who come from all over the world to come play for us each summer. We've had players from Japan, France, Hawaii, Canada, all over. They descend upon St. Joe, typically live with host families, and they call St. Joe home. So they all have aspirations to go on and play professional baseball, Major League Baseball, somewhere. And so we've had players who do reach that on the playing field that have played professional baseball. We've also had players reach it through the coaching ranks. Just last fall, I was watching Cleveland in the playoffs, and some guy looked familiar, and saw his name, and I said, we walked him off the field at Phil Welch in 2013 when he was drafted by Cleveland. And he's their hitting coach now. We actually had a coach in the WBC who used to play for us as well. He was the hitting coach, pitching coach for Israel, Team Israel. But it's really incredible the reach that just a baseball game in St. Joe at Phil Welch Stadium can have. And so that's not to mention our opponents. And so the teams that come in and play against us too, they also have players who have the same goals and aspirations. And so we are the 10-time Mink League champions. We've won a lot, but it's not like we're just playing the Jimmies and Joes. We're playing some good competition as well. And so, I know Sedalia, they had a player who led MLB in home runs in 2020. He played for the Yankees. He played for them in 2013, 2014. And then actually Chillicothe Mudcats also had a player who played for the Toronto Blue Jays most recently in the World Series. And so it's not just us who have these talented players, so the teams that we play against. And so really when you come to a game at Phil Welch, who knows what will or won't happen. But I will tell you there's some of the stuff off the field that we also try to control them from there. But that's a little bit about us. I will tell you the Mustangs, so we are 10-time league champs. We are also, it's been over a decade now that we've led. We've been in the top 10 nationally in attendance, which is pretty impressive. So we average right around 3,000 guests per game. We are intentional when we say the word guests. And so it's a lot of fun. So you might come on a Saturday night and, hopefully if we've done our job, you have a hard time finding a spot to sit. We've had crowds over 6,000. On the weekends, it's pretty big. Fireworks every Saturday, cheap beer every Friday, cheap hot dogs every Thursday. This summer, I think I have 15 out of our 27 home dates have a giveaway attached to it. There's no law that just says, hey, look, we're a college summer team. We should just play by these certain rules. I think it's, and I guess I can kind of go ahead about our start. But we found, the quote that I go by is Mark Twain. The secret to getting ahead is just getting started. And so I found for us, like we'll sit around and generate ideas, and there's always yeah, but, and we're full speed ahead. My most recent issue is for the Apple Blossom Parade, and I wanted to get last year we had a giant paper mache helmet on top of our golf cart that we drive, and one of my staff members sliced the top of the helmet on a wire right before the day of the parade. And I said, where's his hat? So this year we have yet to remake that hat. But I'm trying to figure out, what else can we do? I'm a big Disney nut. My wife plans Disney vacations, and Disney uses the term weenie, which is like a castle. So something that draws your attention. And so for us in the parade, we got to have something that draws attention other than just me in my loud clothing. And so I was looking for a very large something to go on top. We settled on a horse, and my staff talked me out of the 9-foot horse. I settled for 6. So this year I said, we'll try 6. Next year we go to 9. But again, we just do it. And so that's what we do. We do it and we figured it out along the way. But my business starts. So when I purchased the Mustangs from Dan Gerson. Dan founded the Big Biscuit restaurants. There was baseball in St. Joe with vast history, playing at Phil Welch Stadium. Beautiful stadium, Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle Buck O'Neill, all these historic names who have played there. It's incredible. So many stories have been told. But for whatever reason, if you've been in and around St. Joe long enough, or you look at the history, baseball just hasn't lasted. Before us was the Black Snakes, and before the Black Snakes were the Saints. There were some great people involved in a number, and before them, the Cardinals, some great people involved in those different organizations. Why didn't they work? I don't know. I don't know. But I knew for us, when the way we approach it, we can't do things the way everyone else does. We have to be different. We can't outspend, but we have to outthink. And so that's kind of the philosophy that we kind of take in our day-to-day approach. How do we outthink? We don't really want to chase customers. There's a lot of different ways we can chase customers, and we kind of get caught in a race of doing that. What we want to do is create fans. And when you create fans, the fans come to you, and the process is a lot more organic. And now I can create that relationship versus me going out there and, hey, flash sale, here's $3 tickets and come in and that's a fan. Or I'm sorry, I don't want to chase after you. I want you to be a part of us. And so, our business start with the Mustangs. Dan started it. He was very strategic in what he wanted to do. There was a year where Phil Welch was set vacant for city, put a bunch of resources into it, and he went out and he hired general manager. It's the current Kansas City Monarchs, used to be the Kansas City T-Bones. They had just won their league. Very good team. He made national news because he had the Mike Vick Welcome to the Neighborhood promotion at Community America, where they had like barbed wire around the stadium, and they played in like orange convict. This was when Mike Vick it was in Leavenworth. And so he got a lot of attention, not necessarily good. And so anyway, Rick was a great person to learn under. But, for me, so I came on seasonally, and then I was able to talk my way into coming on there full time. And then from full time to general manager to 2021 when I purchased the Mustangs baseball team. It's a little bit different with Mo Family Sports. I was on unemployment. There was no baseball season. And so I was sitting at home in my closet, making YouTube videos, rating my dad shirts, my clothes, that I planned for the summer. And so I don't know what rating I would give this one. This was actually myself as the Tiger King. I'm on the shirt, and so it was kind of like one of those 3D, 4D effects, wearing a Who Farted hat. I mean, I don't know. Some things have nice beginnings, some things don't, but this is a good reminder of the don't. And so, but really, I'm sitting in my closet making these videos, and my son was still going to youth sporting events. And so everything was getting ready to cancel in St. Joe. And I said, well, heck, I can do that. And it goes back to that philosophy. The secret to success is just getting started. I'm just going to get started. And that's what we did. We got started, and here we are 5 years later. And you'll see some of the numbers. But that's how I got started with Mo Family Sports. And with the Mustangs, it was being around right place, right time, and developing those relationships. Our target market, everyone says everybody, but we're a little bit more specific in who we're looking for. I find you, and I've been there this past weekend. I'm going back this weekend. So like this past weekend, my daughter was in Phoenix, playing basketball. I had one son who had practice on Saturday, one son who had practice on Sunday, another son who had, games. Inevitably, it's 8 a.m. Saturday morning, which means coach wants you there at 7, which means I'm leaving my house at 6, to go sit in the dark, and it was cold. I didn't like it. But when people with kids of a certain age, they're too busy really to do much. My parents get mad at me. Hey, Kyle, we never see you anymore. I was like, well, I'm at a field or a practice or a game or something like this. And so we know that, we like those sports-minded people. Absolutely. They make sense. But chances are a lot of those sports-minded people are too busy to come out and do something like this. And so really what we target are, through our kids club, the kids 12 and under, who might not have that crazy competitive schedule just yet. And those families who have those time that they want to spend time with their kids, they still like their kids still like them. I'm speaking from experience. But with the Mustangs Kids Club, it's like it is the cheapest way to get into a game. It includes a season ticket, hot dog at every game, Mustangs pen pal, camp, all kinds of crazy stuff for $35. And we price that very strategically, because we think kids should grow up at the ballpark. And guess what? If they don't grow into a super competitive kids, they grew up coming to games, and hopefully they turn into part of our target market. We'll do different promotions. This summer we have our favorite Australian blue healers, Bluey and Bingo, coming to a Mustangs game. We also go after the corporate crowd. It's really nice when I can say that we've sold thousands of tickets before we even open up the gate. That's a pretty nice feeling because we can't always control. There's a lot of things in this business that we can't control, namely the weather. And so if there's a 30% chance of rain, people see that rain cloud on their forecast and they say it's going to rain. Why are you having a game? I had someone last year who called me on a Monday. Their visit was on a Friday. He said, "Hey, are you guys still having the game?" I said, "Why?" He goes, "Well, it looks like it's going to rain." I'm like, buddy, there's a 70% chance of not rain, but guess what? We had the game. But we go after those corporate crowds. Yesterday, I was with my friends at the Silver and Gold Club, where there's, I call it, and I said this to them, if you've never been to the Silver and Gold Club, it's an incredible thing. They go to World Life Church. There's, every table is full. There's a giant waiting list. There's 500, 600 people, elderly people sitting there having lunch, and then they have a program. And so, I went there and we started this new program called the Silver Mustangs Club. I call it my experienced kids club. We're going after the kids, but it's kind of the same thing. Every Thursday we have post-game kids run the bases. It's a lot of fun. If you've ever seen, the running of the bulls overseas, it's very similar to our kids run the bases. They're behind a gate. They will take out your kneecaps and chins, and they're all like, you do not make eye contact with any of them. And so when we open it, and there they go. And so anyway, I saw this older gentleman one night on a Thursday night running the bases. And so I said, "Hey, what's going on? How are you?" And he goes, "Oh, I just saw these kids having a great time. I want to do it too. Hey, us old farts," was his term. He goes, "Us old farts like to have fun." I said, "Absolutely. Take as many laps as you want." And so I thought that there's just, you've got 10 minutes. And so anyway, it kind of light bulb moment went through my head. And this is kind of like the best way to get started is by doing. And so we did it. And so Silver Mustangs Club is operated very similar to our Mustangs Kids Club. They get 8 free tickets. They're price sensitive. So again, it's very much, you got a fixed budget. It's a very cheap price, 55 and above. It's $55. Mustangs activity packet. You also get a Mustangs pen pal. So you're going to get letters in the mail from a Mustangs staff member. And then you also we'll have 4 nights where you get to stroll the bases. And so we get to have a little bit of fun, but, I think that's the other group, as I mentioned, they don't necessarily have those weekends so full as we talked about, those people in between. And so the whole purpose is 2 things. Network, people, have fun, make new friends. It's part of the culture. And so, we hone in on 3 things with the Mustangs: affordable, family, fun. And so that's a big piece of what we're looking at with our kids club and the Silver Mustangs Club is affordable family fun. And if we can do that, then we're doing something right. Mini Mustangs is kind of the crossover, the hybrid of where both my worlds collide. Again, this is kind of goes back to, just do. Someone asked me, said, "Hey, my youngest son, his name is Kaufman. We were getting ready to play and he's putting together a T-ball team." He said, "What league are we playing in?" He goes, "Yours." And I said, "Well, I don't have one." 48 hours, we had one. And we call it the Mini Mustangs League. And it makes so much more sense once we think about it after the fact. I was like, because now we're creating people who can, and I go back to, we're not chasing, fans. We're creating, we're not chasing customers. We're creating fans. Well, now those kids can grow up saying, "I played for the Mustangs." And I can't wait, 15 years down the road when we actually have our first Mustangs player who played for the Mini Mustangs. I know it's going to happen. It's going to be a great story. Mom and Dad are going to be so proud. They're going to have their teeny tiny shirt, and now they're going to have this actual jersey. But this is part of the organic growth that just happens because we do. Again, we can sit down and think about but we do it. And not everything always hits for us, but that's where we land. And so these are some economics and figures. The top numbers, Mo Family Sports. We have 200 to 250 basketball league teams annually. So like last year we've done this, I think this is the third or fourth season where we revived the school-based model. So where we were approached with a problem. Hey, we've got these super competitive teams. This team's winning by this much. This team's losing by this much. How do we meet in the middle? And so, we answered a lot of different problems by going back to the school-based models because it's a short rec season, but you can still go on and play competitive if you want to. So we've worked with Wes Simmons closely on that model, and he's done a great job with us. But I mean, it gives everyone a chance to just go out and play. It goes back to our thought with the Mustangs. We want people from all different backgrounds to be able to enjoy what we're offering. Ultimately, I'm a dad. I've got 4 kids. And so what we're able to model, what we like, what we don't like, what I wish we could do different. Here we can just do that. And so, but we offer 4 tournaments here in St. Joe. We average 40 teams, but my last one I think was right at 70, 75. Those teams come from St. Louis, Warrensburg, Kansas City, Nebraska, Iowa, come from all over, stay in St. Joe. Then of course we also know there's teams in St. Joe who can't afford to go to those places, to go to Kansas City every weekend. And so we give them a chance to play as well too. And so that's really important for us. And then, our T-ball, we have 20 to 30 T-ball, 60 flag football, which we do each fall. Mustangs, these are all actually percentages, not just hard numbers. Those are percentages, and these percentages change, often. Because this was produced last week, 70% of our suite nights were sold. Now I think that number is closer to 80%. 88% of our deck nights are sold, out. And I think we're a little bit closer there. 92% of our box season tickets sold out, which I sold 10 in the past 24 hours. Our box seats our seats in Phil Welch Stadium are brand new. There was a $1.6 million renovation done at Phil Welch. And so we're actually going to do, so that was part of a CIP that was passed 4 years ago. I didn't know what day today was. So, but what we're going to do is, I think it's important. Part of our culture and the model of what we do is, yeah, like we receive some of this tax money and people vote on it, you get it. But for us, like, how do we put teeth to it? How do we give it a twist? I think it was, it's Barnum, P.T. Barnum said, without promotion, the worst thing can happen. Nothing. And so how do we turn something, like brand new seats into a promotion? It's not really a promotion, but it's something with teeth. Well, you know what? We want to thank the community for voting on this project. We want to thank the people who are doing work. And so what we're actually going to do is we're going to pick one of our best nights this summer with fireworks, a giveaway and some other stuff. And what we're going to do is we're going to offer the community 2 free tickets to a game just because, as a thank you for voting on this, allowing it to pass. I'm not saying anything politically. We just appreciate people's support. And so when we try to do things, we try to do something with teeth and make it matter rather than just do it just because. I always say, like, who is our bearded lady? Like what it goes back to, like that, the weenie model, like, who is our bearded lady? So when we do something, we do it for a reason. Attention always beats marketing. And so how do we get that attention? And if we can get that organic attention, then it'll beat some crazy. I mean, that's minor league. Minor league baseball is marketing. Like you'll see the crazy things, that people will do, like the Mike Vick welcome to the neighborhood. I mean, that did draw attention, but sometimes it's not the attention you want. And so what we're trying to do is get the right attention, to come to us. I am pretty excited about, we are 100%, sold out of our outfield signs. And so, that's pretty neat too. So these are great numbers, for us, but you also have to keep in mind, we play 2 months out of the year. And so the business community has been incredible for us. And there are so many variables outside of our control. Again, I mentioned the weather, but then, people's livelihoods or the outside factors in St. Joe, the different, options that people have. We have to go out. It's a right for us to earn, your time spent with us 1 evening, 2 evenings, 3 evenings, whatever it may be. So if we can capture in for 1, our job is to get you back in here for 2 or 3. Say, I want to come back. So, in 5 years, this is a big question for us. There are 3 words that I always ask myself, and it's also one of my concerns. I want people to walk out saying, "You wouldn't believe." All right, so you wouldn't believe, and that's what we try and do when we pull stuff off here. They're like, "You wouldn't believe they did this." I'll be honest with you. If we had a DeLorean and we took a time machine and we pulled someone in and you see our new video board that's out there, which, is where that fireworks going off behind it. We got this brand new video board. You wouldn't believe that, Phil Welch Stadium now has a video board and part of that too. All right. So how can we make that a little bit more special? And so now we set up it was crazy how we did it. You can text us a photo of yourself at the game, and during our fireworks show, we can put your photo up on our video board. It's not like we sell it, we do anything. It's because we want to create that moment you wouldn't believe. That kid go home and tell mom and dad, hey, you wouldn't believe it. My picture was up there on there. So we look for those types of moments, that, hopefully you won't believe. And so that's where in 5 years, we want to continue to go down that road. I would say selfishly for me, my big dream, there's probably some baseball purists who would, want to throw sharp things at me. It's okay. My kids already do. I would love to turf the infield, of Phil Welch, because that would allow us to host, we kind of go dormant in the fall. I would love to be able to host high school softball, games. I think it'd be great, but we'd have to be able to move the mound, but that would allow us to open this beautiful facility to more, sports games. As of right now, Phil Welch comes alive during the summer with Mustangs baseball, but we've had, high school baseball going on almost daily for the past, month. And so how do we, once Mustang season is over, it doesn't mean our candle has to be blown out. Like we would love to be able to host, high school softball, and let them enjoy this facility as well too. So 5 years, who knows? Maybe that will happen. Problems and opportunities. There's a lot of different things. I will tell you, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, this is something that I stole from my friend, Dan Mears, aka, used to be Casey Wolf. He would say, you know what? I know I have problems, and a lot of you guys out there, you can probably identify right now, like I've got problems too. And the people who are sitting out there who are saying, I don't have any problems. You're the one with the most problems. Like you've really got problems. And so, I recognize we don't do everything the best. And I look at my strategy of, the bearded lady, the weenie, the different things that we're trying to look at doing. But it all boils down to those last three words, you wouldn't believe. And so like when we're doing a youth sports league, like, man, I want the biggest and like, I want them to have like an MVP of this game. Or we actually worked with Missouri Western one time when, our first year we did our school league. Instead of, postseason tournament, we actually had, each coach pick, I said, just pick, this is an all-city game, not an all-star, it's an all-city game. Pick your kid who had the biggest smile and show up to most practices. You can pick your most talented. I really don't care. And what we did with the partnership with Missouri Western is, those kids were able to play out there at Looney, in a game, on that big court. And that, man, what a great experience. That kid's going to say, you wouldn't believe. And that was a lot of fun for us. And that's kind of the same thing for us with the Mustangs. We've got these costs. Those are boring. Those things are going to happen. I always ask myself, is this a problem today? Is this a problem next week? Is it a problem next month? And so, we all have our costs. Well, surprise, they're going up. I mean, the price of doing business. That's one motto that I can remember. But it's just the big question is always what's next. And so we don't want to settle. There's a saying in baseball, yesterday's home run won't win today's game. And so we don't want to settle for what we just did last year. We got 10 league championships, but I don't have one this year. We can't build a reputation, based off what we're going to do. We have to do it. And so it's our job to see that through and to do it. And, at the same time, you feel our culture, who we are. And, so anyway, here's what you can do for us. There's a lot of various things that's going on here. So Mustangs opening day is, May 27th, 2026. I will tell you, we have an incredible amount of planning and preparation going into the season. I was mentioning Caleb before this. It's kind of weird because I feel like we're at ease. I mentioned those numbers ahead of time, but we've got some really cool things. And now what I'm doing for the next month is bringing those to life. And so, I mentioned something to Nick this morning that we're doing something new with them this year. And, we get to start to bring things to life. And that's really neat for us. And so, you can check out a Mustangs game. Opening day, we have skydivers, a bunch of giveaways and all kinds of crazy stuff. All school staff get in free. We also have a Mustangs app, which we just posted, and shared on, social media today. Going through the app is just the most mind-numbing process. I just want to hit my head in the door frame. But we have an app that actually an intern designed for us, last summer. And then she left me with trying to get it approved on the Google Play Store, which was just like this continuous circle. I have a hard enough time remembering my passwords and everything they wanted was nuts, but we did it. We are also on social media. I mentioned Mo Family Sports as well, the St Joseph Mustangs. We are also we have two nonprofit arms on here. So 1939 Club is a way for people to make a maximum tax deductibility donations. All that money the 1939 Club is meant to. So many people come to Phil Walsh Stadium. People come through. I mentioned we had a player from Hawaii. One time I was in my office, I saw a bunch of people outside, and I said, "Hey guys, what's going on? How are you doing?" And they were all from Hawaii, and they had just played at. They went to a game at Wrigley, and they were on their way to Field of Dreams, and so they wanted to make a stop in St. Joe because Josh Lincoln was a Hawaiian and played for us the year before, and they had to see this place where Josh Lincoln had played. And I was like, this is nuts. These guys were from Hawaii and just wanted to come see Phil Welch. It really wasn't along their way. I also saw some guy, he was walking along concourse one day. This is just like during the normal work day. I'm like, hey, what's going on? How can I help you? And he said, hey, I used to play here. So many people have different memories, and it's our job to create new memories. But this guy was walking around and goes, I can't believe this ballpark looks so beautiful. And I said, well, thank you. I appreciate that. What do you do now? He worked in Chicago and he lived there. And he said, I live 2 beers from Wrigley. I said, what does that mean? He goes, I can drink 2 beers by the time I get to Wrigley. I said, oh, okay. Come down anytime. And so I said, all right. And so, but the people we meet, last summer, we had guests from New Zealand, which is right next to Australia. I had to look up the map. So most of you guys probably already know that. Again, I didn't know what day of the week it was today. We had New Zealand, Tanzania, India, Greenland, Bahamas, Mexico, Canada, Japan, just last summer. And a lot of this is just by talking to people. We track some stuff. We do ticket sales online, as well as in person, but just seeing these people from all over the country come visit us, is really neat when something a Google alert pops up and someone's done a ballpark review on, YouTube. Makes me a little bit frustrated too, because I'm like, man, we could have done something a little bit better here in this video, but that's up to me. But the 1939 Club, a lot of these people come to us, like the 2 beers from Chicago guys, say, hey, what can I do? And I'm like, come to the game. I'm not coming to the game. I'm going back to Chicago. And so now what I can do is I can point to people. The 1939 Club allows us to beautify, enhance, and modernize Phil Walsh Stadium. And so that's how, when we got this video board, I was able to go to, we had 75,000 from that CIP to go towards it, and we had to fundraise a matching 75 up to 75 to get it, and so that allowed us to have a home to go and fundraise and get that money, so that we could go ahead and purchase that. And last year was the first year, and it was incredible. But I mean, and so now we continue to have new projects, just enhance the guest experience around Phil Walsh Stadium. I mean, that's what it is. Again, 1939 signifies the year that the stadium was built. The Mo Family Sports Family Assist Fund. This is something that's new. Again, I say everything, we want to make it affordable for families. And let's be honest, St. Joe is not necessarily the most rich town. And so there's a lot of people who can't afford to do things. And as a parent, I have a problem with that. And so how do I rather go on and say, I'm sorry, or, whatever, how can we be a part of the solution? And so, we figured out how to be a part of the solution, at least temporarily. So what families can do, this is specific to our school basketball league. And so if your child is on free or reduced lunch, you can apply. All you gotta do is email us, enter in a code, and we will waive the registration fee for up to 100 families. And it's our job to go out and fundraise to cover those fees. Because I will tell you, youth sports, as much as everyone drives by and they, man, you guys are killing it. Well, I mean, there's times where you're running $1,500 to $2,500 an hour in costs with gym rental, insurance, officials, gate work, all the madness that just happens. And so it's very expensive to do this. So as much as I wish we could just hand it over, we can't. But what I can do is I can go out and I can fundraise and try to raise those funds. And so again, similar to 1939 Club, the way it's set up, that's how this is set up. And so we go out and we fundraise. We actually had a basketball tournament that 100% was going to go towards and help build that fund for this coming year. And that's when it snowed and we had to cancel it. But that's how life goes. And so we're like, all right, we'll figure out something else. And so anyway, those are our two funds that if you know of someone who has some money that they want to dump into something and needs some tax deductibility, we can absolutely help you with that. I think that's it. That's it, right? I think so. Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for listening to me. Hey, Nick. Yeah.
Is the low family sports family assist fund instead of 501c3?
You know what? Again, I go back to say Wednesdays, today Thursday. I forget there's numbers and there's letters. I forget the official whatever it may be. I know there's something close to it. Yes, maybe I can follow up and tell you for sure if you want to ask me.
Awesome.
Yes.
I'll shoot you an email because I think there's a way that some seniors, especially for your older kids,
Yeah.
the ones who are over 70 and a half primarily,
Yeah.
could have an opportunity that's tax deductibility from the IRAs directly to that fund.
Yeah.
So I'll send you something. You can send to that.
I'll pretend I understood most of what you said. That's why you're an expert. So yeah, if you email me, I can find another expert and get those answers. Yeah. So I eat a lot of hot dogs. You know, that's my MO. So yes, sir.
So you're sure that is a tax deductible?
Yeah, 100%. This isn't like a new thing. We've done it and everything will look good and everything was fine. So, we work with the Northwest Community Foundation. They do a great job of this. And so again, I go to the experts, and so they handle all of that, fine-tuned stuff. So my job is to go out there and hopefully fundraise and get the money sent to them. And then, we can do some of these projects. But yeah. So thank you for asking. Yes?
Hi, I don't know you personally, but it sounds like you had plenty of opportunities to use your skills outside of St. Joe.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you for being in St. Joe and investing in this community and bringing something so wonderful and bringing so many outside people here to experience St. Joe. I really love that. One thing I didn't hear in your presentation, but I have read in the Chamber's Monday morning memo, is that you are offering chamber members
Yeah.
throughout the first pitch.
Yeah, so I appreciate your kind words. You know, it's I think St. Joe, and that's what I tell people, you know, they've got, as I meet new people who come to our community, and it's really weird, because like, I think like people who grew up here like to, you know, defecate on our own community, for lack of a better term. I just have a who farted hat on. But, you know, like it's perspective. And so I love to travel a lot, and so I can see what's going on in different communities. And so, when we come back here, like, man, there's a lot of great things, about here, a lot of great people. And so when I meet those new people, they're like, man, I love St. Joe. And people tell me I'm crazy. I was like, those people are crazy. You're exactly right. And so it's our job to, uplift St. Joe. And so we do that every day. It's not always easy. You know, sometimes you get frustrated, but that's life. And so and on your second point, that was part of another thing that we kind of see, elsewhere, you know, some different spotlight. Again, we know that, you know, the chamber represents a lot of, small businesses, and not everyone can afford. I mentioned that we have 100 outfield signs, 100% sold out. That's great. Not everyone can afford that. And so we want to give everyone an opportunity. That's not just in our ticket prices, but in the promotions that we do. And so with the, chamber business of the night, the whole purpose is, spotlight a chamber business, to come out throughout a first pitch if they'd like. But we're also going to throw them out on our social media, which, you know, we have a pretty good following. Spotlight them on social media, say thank you, this is what they offer, and just come out and have fun one night. You know, if worst case, I came to a baseball game, I had fun, got a first pitch, but we hope that there's, you know, a bit more of a domino effect, that maybe some of those people in the stands will see what you're doing and hopefully come out and see your business. So, one person does matter. So there's a million things. Right now, I'm working on 3 different to-do lists, and they're all almost equally as long as each other, but we kind of like pivot and we see what it is, and that's what we do. But that's one that we're really excited about. And we've 27 regular season home games. I believe I last looked, that there was 15 businesses that had signed up for it. And so, yeah, hopefully it's a lot of fun. So.
I also want to say thank you because my family personally has benefited from everything you just said in multiple ways. So thank you for what you're doing for the community. Question on host families for the team.
Yeah.
Do you apply for that, or are they already chosen? How does that work?
So, you know, typically, I appreciate your kind words. Sometimes I think I need a host family for myself. When I come back home after my wife's like, I'm home with our 4 kids and they've had all these practices and where are you? But, you know, the host family, we have a new host family coordinator this year. Nicole Wright is her name. And so basically, like, we're just looking for, people who have an open room in their house. A lot of times it's great for someone who has a small child who plays baseball, or the kids are moved out of the house, and so they have that empty room. And so kind of the expectation is they just provide them a room of their own, and then the opportunity to we like a meal a day. Doesn't mean they're going to eat it, but these guys come home late, and then they're at the ball field, and they're teenagers. But a lot of them have some incredible experiences to where we've had players. Again, I go back to my statement on St. Joe. We've had Trevor McCollum was he grew up in I don't know, somewhere Lee Summit, Lenexa, somewhere there. Went to Washburn, came to St. Joe. He moved to St. Joe. He started his own conditioning workouts at Merrick's Baseball Academy. Like, he wants to call St. Joe home. I'll never forget, we had Mori Chikahama. Mori Chika was from Japan, and Mori's face when he was on the deck when it was time to leave. We had won championship. It was 1 a.m. And I think I don't know if he had an adult beverage or two, but that didn't really matter. Like, the elation of the win and the experience come to a conclusion, and he had to catch a plane the next day, and just how sad he was. I was like, man, this is kind of crazy. And so, but and we still, I know those families still somewhat stay in contact. We've had people go to weddings, to, birthing out, baby showers, all that fun stuff. And so ideally you're able to create a connection, which some of our families just kind of tap out, because that is kind of emotionally taxing, because you grow really close in a quick amount of time, and then they're gone. But then sometimes we're able to come back. A lot of our guys want to come back to St. Joe. So there's teams like ours all across the country. And, sometimes our waiting list for players is over 100, who want to come play in St. Joe. And so, I think that's a testament to our host families, the community, and the support that they provide. And so it's really neat. But, and that's what, going back to this, I do own the Mustangs. Like, I pay the bills, but that's why I say this is more of a community-based team. Like, there's so many people involved. We couldn't do it without so many different people. And so I just kind of get to be the conductor of the symphony, but, it's a lot of fun. So thank you. Did I answer your question on host families? Application process. So if you are interested, you can message us on the St. Joe Mustangs Facebook page, and we get to the right person. Again, kind of like what, Nick was asking me about those, questions. I'm like, we do have host families. Let me put you with the person who does that. So, again, that's kind of the conductor of the symphony. There's the person right over there. So, yes.
So I love the thought, even for all of us business owners, to think of our customers as fans.
Yeah.
How do we turn them in from clients to customers to fans? I've got a friend who lives in Cameron, comes over every time to your games and doesn't miss a game unless he absolutely has to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
kudos to you.
Yeah.
My question is, how many people do this employ? What's that?
Full time, it's 2. So full time, 2. It's myself, owner, operator. So sometimes I'm selling, sometimes I'm sponsorship, like putting it together. I have a Zoom interview later today with a potential intern. Then we do the training of the interns. We take care of the facility. Print, we're working on our pocket schedules to have them in time for the Apple Blossom Parade. I'm trying to figure out inflatable horses to go on top of it. I also have my staff that they're going to be riding, I think, like a stick horse, while they're handing out those pocket schedules in the parade. They don't know it yet. But so, we're always constantly doing things. And so these are ideas that we just do, but, we balloon. So, like, we typically get, a bunch of our concession staff, it's roughly 50 to 60, people. And then, my staff, I'll typically have anywhere between 20 and 30 college age interns who are able to receive college credit. Just like our players come from all over the country, so does our staff. We've had people from Alabama, Texas, Georgia, Mizzou, KU, Northwest, Missouri Western, UCM, NCMC, every college in between. And so we've actually been really fortunate with our staff. And so, I've got people in the athletic department at University of South Carolina, someone in the athletic department at UCLA. I was at the Mizzou K-State women's basketball game that was at Civic Arena a few years ago, and I looked on the bench on the coaching staff, and there was a guy who just interned me for like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was like, "What the heck are you doing here?" We've got the mascot for the Miami Heat have been with us. People on ESPN, all across. But then we've also got those coaches, doctors, nurses, lawyers, accountants, those real jobs. We actually, our most recent one, we have Chase. Last summer he got a job at the White Sox, so he's selling tickets for the White Sox. So we've got people all over the place doing stuff. So our staff balloons. And so what we kind of do is we adjust to the strength and weaknesses of our staff. And that's some of the stuff that we get to do each summer. And so it's the beauty and the beast, which is not just, an analogy to my wife and I, but, it's what we deal with each summer. And it's the great unknown, but we love it. I mean, that's the madness that we thrive in. So, yes.
As a grandparent, I want to encourage other people to do something like that. Instead of buying toys for every holiday for my grandchild, and I buy experiences. So, like,
Yeah.
the first year I bought annual membership for the zoo. Things like that. And for $35, you can't buy a toy for $35.
Right.
That doesn't end up in our garage sale in
Yeah.
next month. So, I just think that's a great idea. And for $35, that's amazing.
Well, and I appreciate that. And that's what we want people to say is like, you wouldn't believe. And so that's part of that philosophy behind that is, man, you wouldn't believe what the price of this. And so, we always say it's like the best kept secret, worst kept secret, whatever you want to do. But, it's really hard for us because again, like how do you reach people today? I mean, I think that's the problem everyone reaches is like, do you do, all these traditional mediums or do you do it on your own? But then you do it on your own. And are you doing it the right way or what does that cost? And sometimes, it's really hard. And so that's why I believe in what we do. We try to do it with that. Everything else follows that. And so, when we go out and we do something, the you wouldn't believe philosophy, that's what allows people to go out and talk about it. So now when I'm out, having breakfast with somebody at La Peep and I say, hey, you wouldn't believe I just bought 35, this kids club and they get a ticket to every game. And, man, I got to do that too. And so that goes a lot further than, and I think that's what allows our business to be successful, is that you wouldn't believe. We don't want to keep it a secret, but, we want to make it good enough that you'll tell other people.
I want to know a little more about you, so back it up. I believe you are a Benton graduate.
I didn't know if that was like a dance term first, so I won't. I don't want to be shown up.
I would like you to see back it up. So yeah, just tell me, how did you gave a little like tiny piece, but I don't know you as much. I just hear things. So what got you to where you are? Did you go to school? What was the dream?
Dropped out in middle school. I grew up in Deer Park, in St. Joe, Cardinal Lane. We used to do home run derbies, at the edge of the grass and the dirt because we couldn't hit it that far. So, we would do home run derby, from there. And so I ran around, Deer Park, forever. And then, my family moved, just outside near Kovacs Fireworks and I went to Benton High School, while I was there. And so, I stopped playing baseball when I was 12. And that's what I tell people. It's like, some people will come to me, like they've got like a youth baseball team. They're like, hey, my son's dropping his hands. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking. Like, I'm not helping you with that. Johnny Coy does a great job of managing our team, recruiting the guys. And like, he knows baseball, like me, like, again, I go back to the like, I know, like, my job is to have fun. And so, someone mentioned to me, Sakai, I got to give you the ultimate compliment. I said, okay. And he goes, I swore to my wife I would never do this. I was walking out of the stadium and she asked me to score the game. He goes, I had no idea what the score of the game was. He goes, I was so in tune with what was going on. And so it took me a while to figure out because, and I love basketball. Basketball is my sport. It's just like what I did 24/7. And then, I was in high school. So, hey, everyone wants to play college basketball, NBA, all that stuff. Didn't happen. But my first dunk was in 8th grade, and my son's in 8th grade. He's my height. He still can't dunk, so I've got a little bit of bragging rights still. But I love basketball. But then I figured out, and at one point, I remember I was in a 10th grade psychology class, and we had to say what we wanted to be. And I said I wanted to be on ESPN. It was sports, like I wanted to be on ESPN and maybe be like a sports center anchor at the time, or do something. I didn't know what. I didn't really want to be in media, but I just wanted to be involved in sports. And so what I figured out once I went to I was in college at Mizzou and I just did experiences. Like I heard the University of Missouri wrestling team needed, someone to do marketing for their team. They're an Olympic sport. And so, most of the, attention goes to the revenue driving sports. So, basketball and football, men's basketball and football. And so, they wanted some more, attention. And so I was able to catch on. I knew nothing about wrestling, Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Undertaker. I'm all in. But I had to figure that out pretty quickly. And so that was it's kind of like, how I went after that. Like, again, like just the best way to get started is just by doing. And so I was let's do it. And so I was able to develop that. Then the next summer, I was able to get an internship with the Chiefs. It was a marketing internship. And so this was actually an interview with someone. He was a retired player with the Chiefs. He had 999 tackles. His name was in the Ring of Honor. You didn't ask him why he didn't have that one extra tackle. Otherwise, he would take it out on you. And it didn't go for stats. He just wanted to do it. So I never asked him. But, my job was in marketing. And so that's when I became friends with Dan Mears, Casey Wolf, who became a great influence on my life, and what he does and says. And so, so I spent that summer with the Chiefs, doing some fun stuff. That was 2005, 2006. And then it's kind of like, you put yourself in the right place, right time, and things happen. And so it's really hard to pinpoint. My dream is to do this, but sometimes life just happens to you. And so now that I found a landing spot for where I'm at, life happened to me. It's my chance to now happen to life. And that's why I go back to, some of the different philosophies that we have. But, it's kind of like, the Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events. I had some fortunate events, that just happened to me. And so part of my speech, I go and talk to some college classes every year. Benedictine's one I go to every semester, and I always say yes to the opportunity. I don't know what the opportunity is, but just say yes. You figure it out later. And there's different opportunities that will always arise. People approach us with different stuff. Hey, can I do this? I'm like, well, we've never done that, but let's figure out a way of doing it. And so, I think, again, my love sports. Everyone grows up. I mean, it gives us a common denominator. We can go talk. I've been on a, cruise ship and in Vegas at a slot machine, where someone come up to me and started talking Mustangs. And I had no idea who they were. And I was like, what in the heck is going on? My kids on the cruise ship, I was on top of a Disney cruise ship. And we were playing mini golf. And, I was probably cussing out my kids for doing something wrong, hitting a golf ball off the side of the ship into the ocean. And someone said, hey, you're Kai, right? And I was like, who's asking? And so she knew the Mustangs, and I don't know how that happened, but I found that, and it goes back to my original point. I thought I was in sports, but really it's in people. Sports gives you a chance to talk to a lot of people. I can see someone who likes a team. I can see someone who doesn't like a team. I can see a lot of different things, but we instantly have a bond and common denominator. And so that's what I really like. I think that's what allowed me to be where I'm at today, if I answered your question. Yes.
I was chatting with some players last year, and their experiences at other ballparks are quite a bit different in some cases because virtually almost nobody shows up.
Yeah.
So what do you attribute the difference between the contrast between those places that you've been able to do here in St. Joseph?
It's a good question. I mean, and I have been approached by other places like, hey, we want to do what you do. Can you do this here? I'm like, well, we're kind of really busy doing it here. So like, if I do that there, I can't do it here. So it doesn't really work out. I'm also president. I've been president of the Mink League since 2018, which is not nearly as much fun. I don't get a gavel or fancy housing or anything. I just get everyone's complaints. There's no correlation between any of our championships and, my role as president of the team. But there's no fix, but it's really hard because like we want teams to elevate their experience too. I think a part of it is the history of baseball in St. Joe, but people will tell you like, and they told us when we came to St. Joe, you will fail. You won't average. You won't draw 500 people. That was told. Do not come here. That was told directly to Dan's face. Don't come here. You're going to have no chance. This is going to be a failure. And that was told to someone who was looking at coming to St. Joe. And so I think you could say the same in some of these other communities. Like, don't do this. This won't work. I think it just takes someone who has the time, the effort. Fortunately, we had Dan who had the financial background. Dan was a retired stock trader in Chicago. The Big Biscuit wasn't doing too bad at the time. And so unfortunately, Dan passed in 2023. But I mean, like his influence there's a quote that he said, it's from when the Mustangs moved into Phil Welch, and it was always just, I'm going to ask myself what's best for the guest. And that I kind of talk about creating bands, and chasing customers. Dan was a big proponent of that philosophy and said it better than I could, especially, I probably couldn't find a belt or tie my shoes at the time. And so like he led with that philosophy. And so for us to think first about the guest, the player, the experience, the profit is way far down, the list. I mean, this summer we're giving away replica jersey and a Hawaiian shirt. I got to order this stuff, and October, November. It's really hard because when I go out to sponsors, they're not thinking baseball. Like, hey, talk to me. And that's why I sold a lot of tickets in the past 24 hours because now people are thinking baseball. And so, but I'm like, I want to do this. Is this what's best for our guests? I want people to wear our brand, for people to be a part of our team. And so the answer was yes, let's do it because it's what's best for our guests. Not every team will do that because they don't have it. My last Disney side note, because I'm a Disney nut, so like something that you can do in Disney is called Bibbidi Boppity Boutique. And so you can do a transformation, you can select between 4 different princesses. You can be Cinderella or Rapunzel or, whoever you want to be. There's also a package that my son did. You can become Captain Mickey on the cruise ship. He became Captain Mickey. They put you in a chair, slick your hair back, and put all these nice Mickey heads. You recite some pledge, and then you're captain of the ship. My son walked around like he was in charge, and I think he had like 10 ice creams. Like, hey, I'm the captain, and so I said, this is such a cool thing, for a kid to feel like they can transform into something. And so we adapted that to us. So we call it right now. It's called Mustangs Makeover. I don't know really what it is yet. I don't love it. But basically a kid's going to come. We're going to give them their own, Mustangs jersey, which it still blows my mind that, kids clothes cost just as much as like an adult. So I'm like, golly, this is like a 2T and it costs just as much as my adult 2X. But so we get the kids, get to put on a jersey, put on a hat. We give them eye black. They're going to get a chance to choose out their own walkout song, before the game, throw out a first pitch, and they get to feel like they're a part of the team. Those, we call it, the Disney term is plussing. We try to plus the experience. You're not just coming to a ballpark and, like you expect to come to a game. Our job is to make you a part of the experience. And I think that's probably the difference between us and some of those other facilities. And so, hopefully they rise. And that's why I was going back to my role as president. It's like, I want every team to do well. There's a new team in Joplin and Kirksville this year. Clarinda, the history of Clarinda is incredible. Everyone has their own story to tell, but, for us, we're pedal to the metal on how do we tell everyone's story. So.
Wow, that was perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
I appreciate it.
much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
Do you have questions or anything? Are you gonna be around?
I'll be around.
Okay. And thank you everyone for coming. Next week is book club. 8 a.m.